is free. Join us January 28th through the 31st to shop special show pricing on over 300 fully staged new and used RVs. Get a first look at brand new models. Browse a huge selection of pre-owned RVs. Check out the latest RV gear and accessories and enter to win a new RV. Don't miss the Ultimate RV Show at the Colorado Convention Center, January 28th through the 31st. Get your free ticket today at ultimatervshow.com.
Brandon Stokely here for Colorado's hometown HVAC team, ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Is your heating system struggling to perform and need to be traded? It has never been easier to get a quote for a new heating system. Rocks Heating and Air offers a free online heating and cooling quoting system so that you can quickly and accurately get pricing on a new system. Only at ROX Rocks Heating and Air. Now play that jingle.
HVAC service, installation, repair. ROX Rocks Heating and Air.
Free barbecue. Yep, absolutely free barbecue. Hey, everybody, Dan Jacobs, the barbecue lawyer at 303 Law 4040. It's 2026, and we are taking our free meal program to the next level, and I want you to help spread the word with me if you can. I got a brand new smoker, and this thing's a beast. It's over 6 feet tall, so we can cook that 1,000 pounds of free barbecue each and every month. Here's what you do. It's Eastern Hills Community Church, 4 to 6 p.m. every first and third Thursday. I'm smoking up delicious pulled pork or my addictive copycat Chipotle recipe, and we're serving it up for free. You just get in line, you pop the trunk, we put free groceries in your trunk, and then we ask you how many meals you need for the night. It's that simple, no questions asked. It's at Smoky Hill and Arapahoe Road every first and third Thursday, 4 to 6 p.m. Help us spread the word, and if you have any questions, you can always call me. The barbecue lawyer's number is 303 Law 4040.
One iced coffee?
$1, please.
For real? No way. One iced coffee?
$1, please.
For real? No way. What a deal.
Your new morning groove. Iced coffee from McDonald's, any size for just $1 until 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Download to see if you qualify. Not all customers will qualify. Transfer fees may apply. No Albert subscription required. Albert is not a bank. Albert Instant Loans are issued by FinWise Bank, member FDIC. Not an actual client. Terms apply.
Kylie, what's wrong?
I just got hit with a car repair bill. I'm behind on rent, and I feel like I can never save any money.
Have you tried the Albert app? Albert is your financial assistant, helping you find ways to save and create custom budgets to actually grow your money. Plus, you can get up to $10,000 for big expenses or advance up to $1,000 fast when you need cash right away.
Albert can get me up to $10,000?
Exactly. Albert spots you in a pinch and helps you grow your money in the long run.
I'm downloading Albert right now.
Download the Albert app and use promo code PLAN to borrow up to $10,000 for whatever you need. The Albert app helps you budget better and save more money so you reach your financial goals faster. Download the Albert app right now and use promo code PLAN to borrow up to $10,000. Use code PLAN to borrow up to $10,000.
So, you're ready to propose, huh?
Yeah, man. She's definitely the one.
What are we thinking about the ring? I got my wife's at Hellsberg. I couldn't recommend a better jeweler.
I could use some help with that.
Man, go to Hellsberg. I had no idea how many details you need to consider. Did you know you can get a natural or lab-grown diamond? I didn't. Figure out what she wants. Trust me, they'll make it happen.
Start your story with Hellsberg. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
Need a plumber? Euro Plumbing has the lowest prices in town. Rock bottom prices on whole house repipes, sewer line repairs, even water heaters. 720-500-3000.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver.
You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan. Welcome to Denver Sports Tonight, taking a look at the biggest stories in Denver sports from your online home for the best opinions and information on the Broncos, Nuggets, Avalanche, Rockies, and more. DenverSports.com.
Welcome on in. Weekend starting a little bit early. Mike Rice, Dante Gomez on Denver Sports Tonight. Ready for another one, DG? Ready for another show? Ready for another weekend?
Let's do it. Ready for it all.
Yeah, man.
All the above.
How was the week?
It was good. It was little sad talking about the Broncos. Everything was just past tense talking about the Broncos, which was a little unfortunate that we're not looking forward to a Super Bowl appearance here in a week and a half or less than that by now. But got a little extra drama, some juicy stuff between Bo Nix and Sean Payton, so that was a little fun. Got to keep the Broncos in. They were, in the top 3 stories as far as Denver sports goes. So it's a good time to be a Denver sports fan, and hopefully we get some sort of parade or championship in the next couple months here.
I got to tell you, I said on Monday that normally I get over losses pretty quickly, and that's still true. But when we did the show on Monday night, I said the more I think about this loss, the more it bothers me, and It stayed true all week, and I'm not gonna be Debbie Downer the entire hour. I promise. We're gonna look ahead. We're gonna have the energy. We're gonna have the enthusiasm. But man, Dante, I've thought this week a lot about just the missed opportunity and all the, even as the game unfolded, how they had opportunity after opportunity, and then decisions they made, and obviously Bo getting hurt, being out of their control to begin with. It was more difficult than usual to get over that one, and I'm still not over it. I'm still not over it totally.
I think that's fair. I think you have a heartbreaking loss like that, a close loss like that, where you think you should be playing next weekend, and to have – I think Zach put it really well, where he called the Patriots Goldilocks. They're sleeping in your bed. They're eating your porridge, and that should be you that you're previewing for.
Yeah, no doubt. 303-713-1043. And we're going to kind of cover the gamut. We're going to talk some Broncos here to start. We'll get to that basketball team in town, and we'll get to that hockey team in town as well. We got a lot of ground to cover. So let's talk a little Broncos, Dante, and let's start with, I guess, the story of the week. I mean, there are a couple major storylines that we have to sort of continue discussing because you and I have not had a chance to talk about them. One is Sean Payton and the coaching changes, and 2, the Sean and Bo exchange. Let's start with the coaching changes first. I want to throw this out there and see if this helps with some context, because when Lombardi got fired, it was a little bit of a surprise to me when I heard the news. I don't know if it was to you. I didn't expect that necessarily.
I didn't expect it necessarily, but once I saw it, it made all the sense in the world to me, connecting dots-wise of, he's going to make Davis Webb the offensive coordinator. And we've seen that throughout sports. The best example I can think of right now is when the Lakers, they brought in Pat Riley. He was the assistant coach, and they decided to make him the head coach right there. And I think, obviously, this is to a lesser degree going from quarterback coach to offensive coordinator, but if Davis Webb's getting looked at for offensive coordinators across the country, he's getting looked at for head coaches across the country, I think there's something there. He's obviously some sort of offensive genius. He knows he's the quarterback whisperer, whatever adjectives you want to throw at him there. And sometimes it stinks, but sometimes you have to make room for a guy like that that's a budding superstar of a coach.
I could not agree with you more, but here's another layer to me. When Sean had his press conference and George Payton and even Greg Penner this week, they all talked about being aggressive. And my first thought, and I think for most of us, the first thought is they're going to be aggressive in the moves they make pertaining to the roster, free agency, the draft, potential trades. I mean, Mr. Penner mentioned all of those. And yet, you look at what the coaching changes, the first changes, those are aggressive changes. And so I just sort of reminded myself this week that this theme of being aggressive, I think, is going to be one that permeates through the entire organization in a way that's smart, that's prudent, that's justified, if you will. But, I mean, look at what they're embarking on with the stadium. That's an aggressive project. That's the next step in the evolution of the organization. And in that, once I thought of it in that way, it's like, yeah, I could see where, with the way the offense performed not only this year, granted under a young quarterback, but also last year when Bo was a rookie, I could see why Sean was aggressive. And then you add on all the points that you just mentioned about Davis Webb. And clearly that's a coach that Sean wanted to keep in the organization. So from that standpoint, it was like, okay, this makes sense that there are changes, even though like Joe Lombardi's been with him for 15 years and he was one of the guys to go.
Do you think there's a line there that could be too aggressive, that they had a great season, it was very successful, and you listen to the post-season or after the season press conferences, and they didn't seem to be as happy with the result. And obviously, you had a Super Bowl on the line there. It's hard to be happy with the season. But do you think there's a point of being too aggressive and not letting things grow and develop naturally with the coaching staff, with the players on the team?
I think you have to be careful. To make changes for the sake of making changes because you fell short, I think is dangerous. You have to be careful of that. At the same time, you can't be afraid to say we were in that position, and how did we get in that position? They played a lot of close games. Kansas City 2 years ago played a lot of close games. This year didn't work out quite the same way for a lot of reasons. Not just, I mean, Mahomes got hurt at the end of the year. A lot of things went on. But so you can't be afraid to be bold and to make changes that you think have to be made, but you can't just sort of willy-nilly make changes because, that's going to automatically make us better. You have to be judicious. You have to be prudent. You have to be strategic. And I think Sean Payton looked at the offensive staff and said, we've got to be better offensively. And I don't know what went into the thinking about, and maybe it was as simple as we need to find a promotion for Davis Webb. And that's the most natural one, the spot Joe Lombardi had. Maybe there's other layers to it. I would guess there would be, about offensive performance, what Davis Webb could bring with a more expanded role. Who knows? But at some point, you just have to say, I'm going to make the move if I feel it's the right move for where we're at, even though it is something of a major change when you dismiss a guy you've been with 15 years. So, I mean, how do you see it? The whole aggressiveness versus still being strategic in the moves they make.
I like it. I like that they weren't satisfied with the results of this year. You go 14-3, you host the AFC Championship, and that's all great, and that's all better than I think anybody could have expected from this team this season. Year 2 of Bo Nix, year 3 of Sean Payton with a major turnaround project he had here. So I think it's fair to be, I guess, happy with the results of the season, but not quite satisfied, if that makes sense. It's kind of a weird double-edged sword I'm talking here, but I think that it wasn't enough to win a Super Bowl this year, and that's the ultimate goal of this ownership. That's the ultimate goal of Sean Payton and this franchise in general. So I think that you have to have that in mind when you're making these decisions of, hey, is this guy going to help us win a Super Bowl, or do we have to replace him with somebody else? And I like that they aren't resting. You got to continue to be aggressive, because you hear other athletes and other sports talk about it is just because you won the championship, that doesn't mean you're going to be the best team the next year. That doesn't guarantee anything. So the fact that they fell short of that and they're still trying to improve, I think that's a good sign from this ownership.
Right, and I also like the fact, the way you put it, not being satisfied with this year, because Sean, poured cold water on the whole next step idea. And it's like, oh no, we start at the beginning. We start at the starting line. That's where all 32 teams are, and you got to run the whole race. And the whole race starts right now for them because the offseason is here.
If anything, you're actually starting behind some of those other teams because you have a later draft pick than most of the teams. You have a first-place schedule, and that's going to be more difficult. You've been fairly healthy the last 2 years. Who knows if that's going to continue? So I like what Sean Payton had to say about that, too, is you're back at the starting line. But, yeah, I would add on to that. You're probably maybe 5-10 feet behind the starting line.
Maybe. I mean, it depends how you look at it. You could also look at it like they have a really good young quarterback that is still seemingly ascending, and some of the teams that might be 5 steps ahead at the starting line are looking for the foundational pieces that even go as high as ownership. I mean, when you look at the Raiders, you look at the Raiders ownership and the Broncos ownership, and I mean, if it's not a no-brainer, then I'm not sure what to tell you. It is It's still a missed opportunity, Dante. And I gotta be real just for a minute. Until we get into some of the moves and until we get past the Super Bowl, it's hard for me not to fall back to that. It just is.
Would it make you feel better if the Patriots win the Super Bowl or worse?
No. It would make me feel way worse.
See, I think it would make me feel worse if the Patriots put up a stinker in the game. They lose 20-3. I think it's like, dang, they weren't even good in that game.
But I think it's more likely to be a stinker in Seattle's favor than anything else. Maybe not a complete blowout. Maybe not like 34-10 or 43-8 if you go back to when the Broncos played the Seahawks. But I'm not expecting a game that goes down to the wire. I'm just not. Are you?
I am.
Really?
I am. I actually think the Patriots might win. I know Broncos country doesn't want to hear that, but to me that would again, it's a double-edged sword of if it would make me feel better or worse, because if they go out and win, it's like, dang, that should have been us winning the Super Bowl. But if they go out and put up a stinker, it's one of those where you second guess why the Patriots are even in that game. They shouldn't even be there. They don't have anything on their resume.
That's how I feel now. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and Justin on the RamosLaw.com text line really, I think, summarizes it. The Patriots did not beat the Broncos. The Broncos beat the Broncos. That, to me, kind of summarizes it. And I don't know, maybe had the Broncos beaten the Patriots, advanced to the Super Bowl, maybe Seattle does take them behind the woodshed and crack it open on them, as they did, a few years ago back in New York, New Jersey. But you still at least want that chance. You want that opportunity, and you want your best player at the most important position to play. But even without all that, okay, I can't do this for an hour, but it's those kind of things. And once the Super Bowl is over, regardless of how it turns out, because I'll get over the result because it's like, the Broncos aren't in it. I'll watch it because that's what we do. We watch games. We watch the biggest football game of the year. But I'm still going to be thinking like that should be Broncos Seahawks. I will. I'll forever think that. And hey, to the Patriots' credit, they found a way to win the game. I said it right after the game. I've been thinking it all week. They deserve it from that standpoint. The Broncos, there are a lot of people who looked at the Broncos all year long in much the same way. Hey, they're finding ways to win, but I don't think that they really are that good. And that's how I feel about the Patriots. They found a way to win. I don't think overall they're the better team.
And that's fair. And I told you that on Monday.
Yeah.
I remember that part of our show where I said you can't bag on the Patriots for winning ugly when everybody around here, at least, was praising the Broncos for winning ugly all year. So I appreciate that you just said that.
Yeah, but the whole back to like looking forward, because it is, I'm forcing myself right now. Next week will be also forcing myself. After the game will be much easier, because then it's like, okay, everybody's in the off season now. But let's get to another Sean Payton situation, and that is the whole back and forth with Bo Nix, the press conferences with the ankle comments, the predisposition to a broken ankle, Bo coming out this week and calling his own press conference. Where do you fall on how big of an issue and how big of a deal this is?
I think they'll be able to get past it fairly quickly. I do think Sean Payton owes Bo Nix an apology. But I think Sean Payton is a big enough person to realize that he overstepped his boundaries, that he stepped in it a little bit, and he talked too much when talking about Bo Nix's injury, even though it was somewhat in jest and he was making a joke at the time. I think it's still not his place to be talking about it. And like I said, I think he realized the mistake he made. So I said this on Wednesday's show with Will. I would be surprised if Sean Payton hasn't already reached out to Bo Nix to initiate an apology and say, hey, I apologize. And the two biggest factors that I believe he would realize that are because, one, when Sean Payton had Zach Wilson here as a backup, I don't know if you remember this quote, he said, "I'm here to make you millions." And obviously Sean Payton's comments about Bo Nix's ankles can cost Bo Nix some millions in terms of the contract extension, in terms of having the label of being injury prone on Bo Nix. And I don't think that's what Sean Payton's intent was. I think it was an accident as far as that goes. So I think he realized he's in the wrong there. So I would assume it would blow over fairly quickly. But these two have had some signs that they don't always necessarily, or they're not always on the same page necessarily as far as the play goes, as far as play calling on the field. So I like that Bo Nix stood up for himself and said, hey, don't talk about my injuries like that. And I think that was an important line of demarcation there. If I'm not under you anymore, we are equals in this franchise.
I think that's fair. I also don't think that the Broncos are at all looking at whatever has happened to Bo and his ankles in the past and saying, well, we might be able to save a few million when it, this time next year when the extension talk begins, because I do think it'll begin next year.
You don't think there's any concerns? You're about to give this guy $200+ million.
I mean, ultimately, I don't know how the Broncos view it. I think generally NFL teams are hypersensitive to injuries, especially a pattern of injuries. But I mean, has that been Bo's pattern with the Broncos? He had
with the Broncos. He's only missed one game, so I want to start out with that. But
sure, and
Sean Payton obviously pointed out that he's had 2 of these ankle foot injuries in the past of his football career.
I don't know what the Broncos think. Personally, I'm not overly concerned. Is it worth monitoring and worth keeping tabs on? Sure, of course. And if you're the Broncos, you're talking to the doctors, you're talking with Bo about the whole predisposition and what that means or what it doesn't mean or what Sean meant. Or do I think this is anything to lose sleep over as we sit here today and talk about it? No, I don't. Is it something to monitor because he's had, as you said, some issues in the past, even though it's been a little bit farther in the past now? It hasn't been really in his NFL past to this degree. I'm not going to freak out about it right now. If something else happens, that's a change in the situation. That's a new development that we would have to monitor and listen to what exactly is going on. But in terms of the exchange between the two, I don't see this as any kind of deal breaker in the relationship between those two, Payton and Nix. I see it as coach said something, player didn't like it, player corrected it publicly. My guess is they probably already talked about it. I have no idea, no way of knowing that for certain. That's just a sort of an educated guess. And I think it's easy to make something of that, but I'm not worried about that exchange in the least as far as it damaging their long-term relationship at all.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of a one-way tiff, if anything. I don't think Sean Payton has any reason to be mad at Bo Nix over this exchange of words. So, if anything, I think it would be Bo Nix taking a rightful amount of offense to the comments. And maybe offense isn't the right word, but wanting to be protective over the narrative of his injuries. I think he should have that mindset when it comes to his injuries and his ankles and his body in general. So
sure,
I think it's more of a one-way tiff, if anything, but I would be very surprised if this lingers any bit into the future of even the start of OTAs.
And I'd be surprised if Bo let it linger. I don't think that's what he's going to be focused on. I don't think that's what he is focused on. I don't think he's going to hold a grudge against his coach for, maybe just being a little bit too talkative on that particular subject. I don't know. I ultimately don't know what Bo is thinking about it all other than what he said, which Sean Payton shouldn't have been talking about his injury history. That's a fair point. And time to move on. Was it interesting to hear and listen to and observe the exchanges? Sure. Is it going to make their working relationship player-coach, coach-player untenable? I think that's way, way beyond anything realistic at this point.
And how do you feel about Bo Nix potentially calling this press conference himself? Because it was somewhat last second.
Sure.
So the rumors are that he wasn't, or not rumors are, he was not supposed to speak that day. It was announced an hour or two ahead of time. Do you like that he took control of this situation, or would you have rather just let it settle in the dust?
I think it was fine. I don't. Again, he felt like he wanted to clear the air, and he clears the air, and now we move on. And that's, I think anything other than that, I have to see evidence that there's more of a rift between the two. I wouldn't even call it that. You know, we've seen Bo get upset during a game when Sean has done things. You know, he's late getting plays in. We've heard Bo on the hot mic, the field mic, say all these rotations and all these player grouping substitutions, expressing some frustration or coming to the sideline and being hot. I think this is a different version of that, and none of those other things. And I understand that there's the emotion of the moment, there's the game intensity in those other situations, not here. But I kind of liken it to a similar deal. I think we all move on to the off season and now building the roster and Bo getting healthy and doing his rehab, and we're going to find out how that comes in, once OTAs start and off season conditioning, all that. Interesting to talk about, though. I was it's just, again, missed opportunity, and now moving on. I must ask you this, Dante. We're going to have plenty of time to talk about all the offseason possibilities, the moves, the free agents. What position group is your number one priority for the Broncos offseason? In other words, if you're Sean Payton and George Payton and Dante sitting at the table in the room as they strategize, what position group are you pounding the table for and saying, first guy, the most important priority is that position?
And I'd be happy to sit in the room with George Payton and Sean Payton. If they
Sure
would like any advice here, I'd be happy to join you guys down in the war room. To me, it's not even position group necessarily. It's one position, and it's starting running back. I think what is a quarterback's best friend? A run game, where the defense doesn't know what's coming. They have to prepare for a run game and a pass game, defending every blade of grass on that field, getting you to third and shorts, getting you to second and mediums. I think all of that goes hand in hand with having a good run game, and that's what we saw for a majority of the first half of the season when J.K. Dobbins was healthy, and it didn't quite look the same, didn't feel the same once Dobbins went down, and it was Harvey and McLaughlin leading the running back room. I think that's what puts Bo Nix in danger when he has to run 12 times in an AFC champion or in an AFC divisional game. So to me, you got to go out and get a running back one that complements RJ Harvey. I think RJ Harvey's a legit NFL player. I just think he's more of an offensive weapon than he is a lead running back that can carry the ball 15 to 20 times during a game. I think you want to be able to use R.J. Harvey almost as that joker role that Sean Payton has talked about. Split him out wide. Let him run routes. Let him get the ball out of the backfield too. Let him throw the ball out of the backfield on some trick plays. I think that's when Harvey's at his best, not used as the primary running back. So you have to go out and figure out your lead running back.
I can't argue with that. And tight end would be close behind, and inside linebacker would probably be in there as well. The Broncos have the 13th most cap space in the NFL. They have 27, almost just under 28 million in cap space. Now, I think of that and I go, okay, how many players could that bring in free agency? That's probably two really good players if you think of, 10 to 12 a year, maybe 2+. But then I think of that aggressive theme and I go, yeah, you could trade a guy. You could,
you could turn some salaries into what is it called when you get paid ahead of time?
Deferred money. Oh, defer money to later?
No, the opposite of that.
Buyouts.
Signing bonus.
So,
sorry.
Yes.
I was putting you in a bad spot there. I didn't do a good job of explaining it. But we've seen that across the NFL too.
Like I was on a game
show. where you turn salary into signing bonus, and they get that a little earlier, and then it doesn't go against the cap. We saw New Orleans do that for years with Sean Payton, and now they have some of the richest owners in sports. I think we're going to see a lot of that in Denver as well.
Yeah, I think that very well could be. It's going to be a fun offseason. It's going to be a really fun offseason. But in many ways, we're back to where we were last year. And one of the big themes for the offseason in terms of acquisitions is going to be weapons offensively. And that's kind of where the Broncos tried to address it, and I'm not sure that the results that came back were what they wanted them to be.
No, not quite. I'm assuming you're talking about Evan Ingram.
Evan Ingram, even the running back spot. I think R.J. Harvey's a good player. Is he the kind of running back? Has he shown the kind of ability to be that every down back? He hasn't shown that to me yet. And I think the Broncos, from what Sean Payton said, they expected him to be that guy.
Yeah, and this might be a conversation we can have later if this isn't what you want to do now here. As far as those positional needs that you're talking about,
yeah,
are any of those you'd feel more comfortable plugging in a free agent versus plugging in somebody in the draft? Is there
running
some
back,
of those where you'd rather have a veteran?
Yeah, I'm with Zach on this. I want Breece Hall as their running back.
So you wouldn't be as confident if they picked a running back 30th overall?
No, I wouldn't, because you never know exactly what you're going to get. And R.J. Harvey's a great example. Again, he's a good football player. And I'm not sure he's the type of player. He hasn't shown it to be the type of player that the Broncos said that they believed he would be, which is more that every down guy. And I think Breece Hall is still young enough, but yet experienced enough, and I'd be willing to overpay him. If his market rate, according to Spot Rack, is around 10 a year, I'd say let's get up to 12 and get him in here and hopefully, air quotes, solve the running back situation in a way that puts your foot down and says, we got a dude. And I think he's a dude. And there's not a whole lot of dudes available in the free agent running back class. And I think he's the best dude of the group when you factor in everything: age, ability, experience, all of that. Going to be fun. Hey, by the way, there's a basketball guy who's coming back.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Who's that?
I think everybody knows. That's next.
Stream Stokely and Evans with Mark Schlereth, Dover and Cecil, The Drive, and all your favorite shows on the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan app. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan, DenverSports.com, and the Denver Sports app.
This is a test of the emergency alert system. This has been a test of the emergency alert system.
A family office is a team built to handle the three biggest financial responsibilities a family faces: wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning. Most firms only manage your investments and refer the rest out, hoping everyone stays aligned. At Trajan, we built something different. Your wealth, tax planning, and estate planning are handled together inside one firm under one roof. There's no guessing whether your CPA, advisor, and estate attorney are truly in sync, because our team works together every day on your behalf. When your financial life becomes more complex, your advice should become more coordinated, not more fragmented. One plan, one trusted team. Call Trajan today, 720-204-8100. That's 720-204-8100.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
Hey, Broncos country, it's Terrell Davis here. It's a new year. It's time to work on a new you.
At Fitness Gallery, we have deals everywhere, up to 50% off. We have the nation's lowest prices on the best equipment money can buy. We carry true treadmills. They are the smoothest, quietest, and best warranty treadmills ever built for the home. Work out on your schedule on the equipment you choose, from the safety and comfort of your own home. Visit one of Fitness Gallery's 7 convenient locations from Colorado Springs to Fort Collins. We have you covered.
Men, it's the new year, and for many of us, it's a time of deciding to make positive changes in our lives. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction and are tired of the frustration and embarrassment ED causes, you should call the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic today, because there probably isn't a better resolution you can make than to be done with ED. You see, ED doesn't just affect you, it can also affect your partner, even if they don't talk about it. But here's some great news. If you're like most guys, the treatments at the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic will give you back your sex life, because our protocols have success rates that work in well over 90% of cases. Seriously, you might even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So, make an appointment and get ED out of your life. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. That's RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. We have 5 offices across the Front Range to serve you.
Hey guys, boy Steve here today about my long-term buddy Troy Hansford. And if you're thinking about selling your house for any reason, now might be the time to sell, still get top dollar. Believe it or not, my guy Troy is still offering his $5,000 guarantee. What is it, you ask? Well, if he can't sell your house at your price on your timeline that you agree upon beforehand, bam, going to cut you a check for $5,000. Who else makes the offer? Nobody I've ever heard of. And he makes that offer because he continues to spend a ton of money marketing his listings, has about 100 families approved and ready to buy right now. And if for any reason you need to sell right away, Troy can buy your house, all cash, and he can close in as little as 7 days. You have a house to sell, Troy probably has that perfect buyer for you right now, waiting for you to pick up the phone and to call him. Call Troy, get your home sold for the most money. That's 720-900-4433, 720-900-4433. Troy Hansford of RE/MAX Professionals, a Colorado licensed broker. Some restrictions do apply. Want to sell your house? Then call my buddy Troy, 720-900-4433.
Hey, Mom. It's me. Oh my gosh, you'll never believe what I just opened for Valentine's Day. A sapphire ring from Helzberg. Just like the one I lost years ago. Remember how excited I was when you gave it to me? I cannot believe you remembered that story. I guess you were right. I really found the one.
This Valentine's Day, create a moment that means something with up to 40% off gifts at Helzberg. Shop in store or at Helzberg.com.
The Ultimate RV Show is returning to the Colorado Convention Center in Denver, Colorado. Admission is free. Join us January 28th through the 31st to shop special show pricing on over 300 fully staged new and used RVs. Get a first look at brand new models. Browse a huge selection of pre-owned RVs. Check out the latest RV gear and accessories and enter to win a new RV. Don't miss the Ultimate RV Show at the Colorado Convention Center, January 28th through the 31st. Get your free ticket today at ultimatervshow.com.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan is brought to you by 5280 Exteriors, the altitude of quality.
It's Denver Sports Tonight.
$7 tip at Ball Arena. Sigh of relief, man. Huge sigh of relief. And how about a pat on the back for our Nuggets for the way they battled without Joker and others. But, when Nikola misses time, that's sort of, takes precedence over everything else. And, man, what'd they go, 10-6, right around there, something like that, as they worked without their big fella. And now he's back into the lineup. We'll see how quickly he's able to reacclimate and get back into game shape and all those good sayings. But, man, for the Nuggets to get him back, just huge. I didn't actually – I was a little surprised when I heard about it. I knew it was pending, but the fact it's tonight, that's cool. I'm glad.
Yeah, I'm excited. It feels like – Nuggets basketball is back on, and they were kind of holding or treading water over the last month, but now it's when championship contention comes back, because there is no Nuggets championship contention without Nikola Jokic,
oh my goodness,
without the MVP. So it gets me excited to watch Nuggets basketball again, and not that it wasn't exciting when he wasn't out there, but you knew you weren't watching a finished product out there when you have Zeke Nnaji playing that amount of minutes, and you have Spencer Jones, sorry.
Yep.
Spencer Jones playing that amount of minutes as well. So I think that it just gets you a little more riled up for the playoffs, which before you know are going to be here.
It's been right at a month that Jokic has been out. Sidelined since December 29th when he hurt his knee, the bone bruise, hyperextended knee. And, oh, man, think back to a month ago, right after, as that was happening, right in the immediate aftermath,
we're all thinking, please don't be an ACL, please don't be a ligament tear of some sort, because it looked awkward. It obviously hurt because of his reaction, and for him to miss a month, maybe in the grand scheme of the whole season, the fact he missed a month and 20% of the season or so, maybe that ends up being a good thing as far as his freshness come the playoffs.
Well, it's certainly a good thing for Peyton Watson. That guy's been going nuclear over the last month or so, or even probably leading back before that, but still, he has earned himself a lot of money while Jokic has not been out there. And I've been impressed with Jamal Murray being able to be the leader of this ship and lead this team to a winning record without Jokic. I've had my doubts, I'll be honest, hand up here. I've had my doubts about Jamal Murray being the best player on an NBA team, and that team would most likely look like a lottery team. But 10-6, that's pretty good, and you were able to keep this team afloat without the true best player on the team and probably the best player in the world.
If on December 30th I had said to you, when Nikola Jokic returns for the Nuggets, they'll be 32-16, 5.5 games behind the Thunder, and in the 3 spot, a half game out of the 2 seed, you would have said what?
Jokic didn't miss a full month.
I would have said, sign me up right now.
Yes, no, absolutely, and that's what obviously I'm getting at there.
Yeah.
But I just wouldn't have assumed that was possible without Jokic, to be honest.
I think what the Nuggets have done, I think David Adelman has shown me a lot, the way he's kept this group together. I think just, look, it hasn't been a perfect stretch by any means, but it's been a stretch of surviving and not going. If they played 16, not going 6-10 or 4-12, or you just don't know what a team is going to do, especially when it wasn't just Joker. It was these, at the time, Christian Brown, and obviously Cam Johnson's been out. It hasn't just been one guy. They were down 3 starters at one point.
I think there was games in there when they were down 4 of their starters.
Down 4.
Too,
and now AG, that one concerns me. I got to be real.
Concerns you for his own health or this team's ability to win long-term without him?
Well, it concerns me because it's a pattern of the soft tissue, the hammy or the calf is sort of alternating. And I'm concerned because I think he's critical to their title hopes, and it's more than just an isolated incident now. So, yeah, I wish well for Aaron Gordon personally. You never want to see a player go through repeated injuries, but I was thinking more along the lines of the Nuggets and how that would affect a title run, how that would affect a playoff push if he's not able to be at 100%, much like last year's playoffs. And exactly. I know it's a different roster, different situation. They got off to a much better start this year, all the rest, but AG is still, we all know, a critical piece.
And I might have worded my question wrong there. But I meant more in terms of, do you think that this is going to happen again? And obviously we've seen a history of it the last year or two here in Denver with his calf and his hamstring issues, those soft tissue injuries that he's had
I fear
that are stacked up.
Yeah.
I think this team can still win a lot of games without Aaron Gordon. I love Aaron Gordon, and I think he's the toughness to this team. I think he brings a lot to this team on the court and off the court in terms of being a leader as well. But I've really been impressed with the way everyone else has stepped up in Jokic's absence and in Aaron Gordon's absence. So I still think this team can go a long ways without Aaron Gordon. But, boy, would it be nice to have him out there. And I'm with you. I'm concerned about the health of him in a playoff run because these injuries usually come in multiples. You don't magically get fixed in a month usually with a soft tissue injury like that. So the likelihood that it pops up again before the playoffs or during the playoffs, I'd put it this way, I'd be holding my breath every time he maybe pulls up a little bit and grabs at anything lower body.
Okay, so it's beginning of February, in essence, right now. And the Nuggets said that Gordon would be evaluated in 4 to 6 weeks. So that doesn't necessarily mean he'll be back in 4 to 6 weeks. It means somewhere in that time frame, sometime around the end of February-ish, he's going to be evaluated again. And if it ends up being 6 weeks, that, okay, in mid-March, you start to do the calendar game. the season ends April 12th, the regular season, against the Spurs down in Texas. And, I mean, if you think of him being reevaluated and maybe somewhere between starting to ramp up and close to coming back in mid-March, that's, roughly 10 games, 12 games or so. That the timeline is starting to push the playoffs a little bit. So that's another reason I'm concerned about Aaron Gordon, because he means that much, in my opinion.
I think so, too, and I think that could impact the rotations we're going to see in the playoffs. Maybe Aaron Gordon doesn't play 36, 38 minutes in the playoffs or leading up to the playoffs because they're a little, and as it warranted, a little cautious about his hamstring. So I think that could impact the rotations, the amount of minutes that he's playing down the stretch and in the playoffs. But like I said, I've been pretty impressed with everyone else being able to step up, that I would still have confidence in this team.
Sounds like they want to get Cam Johnson back, some of these other guys back before the All-Star break, which is in a couple of weeks. All-Star game is, I think, the 15th of February, right in that time frame. So that would be great. I mean, their last game before the break is Wednesday the 11th, and then it's All-Star weekend after that, and then they're back in action with a 3-game road trip starting Thursday the 19th. So hopefully, with the exception of AG, we start to see the Nuggets reassemble and look like more of their normal selves. And look, I'm not worried from the timetable standpoint really with anybody except Aaron Gordon. That one does have me a little bit concerned just because of the evaluation timetable. But the other guy, I mean, there's plenty of time. It really starts to get a little bit more urgent once you get past the All-Star break, and we're still a couple of weeks from that. As we turn our attention to the Avalanche, how concerned are you about their skid? That's next on Denver Sports Tonight.
Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok
at Denver Sports 1043 to stay up to date on all your local teams. Denver Sports 1043. The Fan.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Big tax changes this year could mean a bigger refund, and Jackson Hewitt knows how to get you your biggest. You'll get $100 just to try us. That won't make you filthy rich, but definitely gas plus groceries rich. And since we know all the new tax codes, you could get thousands back, which would make you low-key loaded. Or at least wealthy adjacent? Go with our trusted pros and get $100 to switch. Rest easy. Jackson Hewitt's got your taxes. Guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
This year's tax changes. Better not get caught snoozing. Miss one deduction. Lose thousands. Not amusing.
Big tax changes can mean bigger refunds at Jackson Hewitt. And right now, get $100 just to try us.
Don't worry, tax filers. If money is tight, get $100 from Jackson Hewitt, so you'll sleep better at night.
Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Save more on the brands pros trust at Lowe's. Right now, get up to 35% off select major appliances and choose from our wide lineup of top brands. Plus, save $100 on a Little Giant 22-foot multi-position ladder. Now just $189. Built for strength, flexibility, and job site versatility. Pros, these savings will only be here for a limited time. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 1/30. While supplies last. Selection varies by location. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Your air duct cleaning experts, Ductworks.
Hey guys, feeling cooped up this winter? Mark Schlereth here. You know these Colorado nights can get freezing cold with your furnace running non-stop just to keep things cozy. But here's the thing. While your heating system is working overtime, it's also blowing dust, dirt, and debris through your air ducts and straight into the air you breathe. That's where Ductworks comes in.
your trusted air duct cleaning experts. Using a powerful combination of scraping and vacuuming technology, the Ductworks team clears out years of buildup, grime, and other gunk hiding in your ductwork. The results? Cleaner, fresher air, better energy efficiency, and a healthier home or office for you and your family. Don't wait until spring. Breathe easier now with top-rated service from Ductworks. Call them at 303-425-0985 or visit them online today at ductworks.com for a free residential or commercial estimate.
303-425-0985. Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-444-9336. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-444-9336. That's 800-444-9336. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-444-9336.
I wish I'd gotten treated for my erectile dysfunction sooner. Men, I hear this all the time from our patients. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if ED is a problem in your life, resolve to get it treated today and stop having it affect you and the one you love. ED is simply a medical condition, and it's fully treatable. And at the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, your ED will be a thing of the past. In fact, you could be having great sex within a day or two of your first appointment, and you'll likely find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. It's the new year. Resolve to get your ED treated and change your life. Call us at the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic. Your initial visit is only $99. It includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. We have 5 offices across the Front Range to serve you. Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Stay up to date on the Broncos with our 9 News Broncos insider Mike Kliss, presented by Fitness Gallery. Hear the latest from every practice and every game every single week during football season. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Denver Sports Station 104.3 The Fan presents Denver Sports Tonight.
Mike and Dante on a Friday night. Hope you have awesome weekend plans. What you going to be up to this weekend, Dante? Anything earth-shattering on the docket for the weekend?
I don't think so. I think it's going to be a pretty low-key weekend for myself. I'm debating, maybe you can help me make this decision, Mike.
Sure.
Should I work out after this show, which is pretty late, and I would be getting home pretty late, or should I just go to the gym tomorrow?
So if you go tonight, you wouldn't need to go tomorrow?
No, I go to the gym like 4 days a week.
Oh, just do it. Plow through, man.
Just do it tonight?
Bust it.
I should. I know I should.
Yes, you should.
That wasn't the answer. I was looking.
I know. You were looking for a little pity and a little sentiment, emotion. You know, a little comfort. No, I'm gonna I'm gonna be your coach that pushes you hard. Bro.
I appreciate that, Mike. But no, pretty low key weekend. There's not really a lot of sports going on.
Yeah,
might dip my toe into some college basketball wagering.
Oh,
so we'll see.
All right. So the Avalanche, when you just look at whether or not they have won or lost, forget the point, forget the overtime losses and all that. They have lost 6 of their last 8 going back to January 12th. So we're on an extended stretch of, well, at best, mediocre hockey. I'm being kind, okay? And on the power play, it hasn't even – I mean, mediocre would be a massive upgrade at this point.
I mean, for these guys, I don't know if that's mediocre. For these guys, it's been pretty bad stretch of hockey here.
Well, that's what I mean. Mediocre hockey and mediocre on the power play would be an upgrade from what the Avs have put up here recently. And I guess the question is, Dante – even though they were on a torrid pace before this lull. Does this fit into the category of all teams go through it, even great ones, or does this potentially point to warning signs that the Avalanche that could come back to bite the Avalanche either on the way to the playoffs or in the playoffs? It's not too early to ask that question.
No, I don't
given
think so
the
either.
fall off here recently.
I think that's a very fair question here. I would lean on the side that everything's okay, that you're still 7 points ahead of the team that's below you in points, and that team's not even in your conference. The only chance you'd have of facing Tampa Bay would be in the Stanley Cup Finals, which I think everybody would sign up for right now if I said you're in the Stanley Cup Finals facing Tampa. So I think that it's hard to be a dominant team for all 82 games of the year. I think you see that in all sports. That's why what the Warriors did back 10 years ago was so special. That's why what the Bulls did back with MJ was so special. And it's hard to be a dominant team for a long regular season like what baseball, hockey, and basketball have. So I think they've shown that they're still really, really good, and they're the best team in the NHL this year, but maybe they're not an all-time record-breaking kind of team, and that's okay. Those teams come across, every 20 years? And it's okay that that's not your team this year.
And part of that equation is just good fortune. I mean, the Avs have hit a stretch here where, Landy's been out an extended time, Taser's been out an extended time, and who knows when those guys get back. And from that standpoint, you have to have some good luck in terms of health and bounces and hockey bounces, factor in maybe more than other sports. I'm not overly concerned. It bears watching. And the power play, that's the one area where I say, okay, this is just strange. I was just talking to someone on the ramoslaw.com text line. It's weird to me how a team this good, this dominant, this talented can struggle to this degree on the power play. They made the coaching change on the power play side after last year when it was bad, and it hasn't gotten better. In fact, it's gotten worse. And that is just strange to me, Dante. I don't know that anybody can figure it out. I know Jared Bednar and his staff are probably burning the midnight oil trying to figure it out. The guys are probably trying to figure it out. It's weird to me. That is an area of concern. They have got to figure out the power play. Generally speaking, though, I'm not at all near panic mode over this rough patch for the Avalanche.
Completely agree. And the concerns on the power play, to me, that has nothing to do with the recent skid that they're on. The concerns for the power play have been all year, basically.
Exactly.
So even when they're going out and winning all of those games, the power play still wasn't thriving the way it should for this team and the amount of talent and offensive weapons that they have. So that'll be a concern for me into the playoffs here as well. But to me, that is a completely different conversation almost than the recent skid that they're on.
And perspective is always important too. The Avs, despite this rough patch, I mean, they're prisoners of their own incredible start by setting that standard. They're still 35-8-9. I mean, I look at that and I go, oh, they're fine. And yeah, there are concerns. I mean, because it's all about the postseason now for this team, and it has been almost from the beginning of the season. And yet, when you look at the West, they're still 7 points clear of the Wild. And you were referring to this a minute ago when we started the segment, just about where the Avs are placed with their point total, not only in the West but in against the rest of the NHL. So it's not at all urgent. But I'm just starting to watch going, okay, there's a little bit of concern. Here's another concern for me. When it comes to the goaltending, Scott Wedgwood's start was uncharacteristically amazing. Is that realistic? I mean, that level? Because he's come down a notch or two. Blackwood's trying to get back into it. He hasn't come up, I think, to the level where I think the Avs believe and he believes he can be. So that goaltending situation is also one that bears watching in my mind.
Absolutely. I think that's a really good point that I hadn't crossed my mind exactly, but you are right. Wedgwood had an incredible start to the year, and Blackwood's been a little lackluster from what we expected. He was dealing with injuries early, so I think we'll see a better version of Blackwood, specifically after the Olympics and after he can take a little break there, and everybody's kind of starting at the same starting line once that Olympic break is over.
Hockey guy on the text line gets the last word when it comes to the power play struggles on the RamosLaw.com text line. Simple. It's the worst power play coaching in the league. Well, if you go by the results, tough to argue that. Dante, always fun. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Let's
Enjoy
do it
the
again
weekend.
Monday. You as well.
We will reconvene on Monday. Thanks to all you guys. He's Dante Gomez. I'm Mike Rice. Have a great weekend. Have a safe weekend. We'll talk to you Monday night on Denver Sports Tonight.
Tune into The Rundown with Richie Carney every weekday at noon on YouTube, Facebook, or X. Presented in part by The Birdie Bar, Louisville's premier indoor golf bar experience. Check out this week's live music, trivia, and other fantastic events at thebirdie.bar on the web.